Welcome to the final afternoon of Forum. My name is Amy Lesnick, and I'm the CEO of Pledge 1%. And I will be your MC for this afternoon as we continue to explore how technology is going to transform the way we live, play, and work. As we come to the final hours of Forum, I'm delighted to center in on some key themes that will really challenge us to think about the future of business, finance, and government, with topics ranging from robotics to digitization to defending democracy itself. One thing that's clear to me as we dig in is that the toughest issues of our time, right now and in the future, aren't going to be solved by government or nonprofits alone. It's definitely going to take business leveraging their technology, their talent, their connections in really innovative ways, coupling with nonprofits and the government to really make transformational changes in our world. And the good news is that for many companies these days, giving back and having some sort of social impact is increasingly not just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do, especially when it comes to attracting and retaining top talent. So expectations about what it means to be a successful leader today and what it means to be a successful company today are changing. The old world, companies would wait till they're much bigger and much more financially successful, and then they would give back. And it would typically be on the side, a little bit of money, maybe some volunteer hours, but that's shifting. So the new normal, as evidenced by many of today's great companies like Salesforce or Twilio or Atlassian or SurveyMonkey, and some of the ones that were here today, SendGrid, and some of the hot IPOs this year like DocuSign and Pluralsight. These are all companies that are thinking about how do we actually integrate this into our DNA? How do we not just do it on the side, but how do we actually leverage our technology for good and embed giving back as our core value and actually redefine what success is not just financial, but also how are we actually making a difference? So with that, I'd love to kind of talk to you a little bit about Pledge 1% and share a little bit to kind of help you understand the movement. So Pledge 1% is a global movement to create a new normal where giving back, or giving first, is actually baked into the DNA of companies of all sizes and stages. Right now, we have over 6,000 companies in 100 countries in just 3 short years that have taken the pledge, including many of the companies that have been presenting here at Web Summit over the last couple of days. And top ecosystem partners like 500 Startups and Techstars and Web Summit are all coming aboard too to really make this change happen. Last year, Fast Company named Pledge 1% the #1 most innovative nonprofit in the world and one of the top most innovative companies. And we ended the year by ringing the NASDAQ bell, celebrating our $500 million of impact of new philanthropy that Pledge 1 members have created in a short period of time. And we're just getting started. So the movement was actually inspired by Mark Benioff from Salesforce and Scott Barkhoff from Atlassian, and what they thought about when they were starting their companies. Yes, they wanted them to be successful. Yes, they wanted them to be innovative. But they also thought about what kind of company do they want to build, and could it be a force for good? And in doing that, could it attract the kind of talent and people that also believe that as well? And so with that, they created a model, and this is the model that's the foundation and framework of Pledge 1%. It's a flexible framework to pledge 1% of your time, product, profit, or equity to any cause of your choice. It doesn't come through us. We're just about providing the tools and the framework to make it happen. And even more than that, even more than these 4 pillars, it's really about reaching into your core and thinking about what are your core assets and strengths, and how can you really leverage them to be a force for good. And Pledge 1% is really there to inspire, educate, and empower you along the way, along your journey. So as I mentioned earlier, increasingly giving back isn't just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do. 80% of millennials in a recent article in Forbes said that they want to work for a job where they feel a sense of purpose. 78 will actually choose companies where their values align with their own. And by 2025, 75% of the workforce will be millennials, so this is a trend that's not going away. So if you think about the talent and the resources and the connections and the creative problem-solving skills that we actually have in this room, and then multiply that by all the people that are here at Web Summit, what if we all pledged 1%? And by that, I don't mean just money. What if we all kind of thought about our own assets and strengths and our resources and our technologies, and we brought them together to truly work together to tackle certain issues? Well, then just imagine the possibilities. We could be truly transformational in what we're doing. So our vision is nothing short than a new business paradigm where giving back, or giving first, is actually integrated into the core DNA of companies of all sizes and stages, preferably as early as possible, and where companies creatively and collaboratively leverage their assets, including technology, to tackle and solve the toughest issues of our time. So with that, I'd love to personally invite you all to join the movement, help us be co-creators in making this happen. Pledge 1% is by the people, for the people. We're totally open source, so our members are continuing to build it every day. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to go to pledge1percent.org or take the shortcut and go to p1.today to take the pledge and join the movement. It takes 30 seconds, and then you're part of this group where we are continually leveling it up and sharing best practices and really co-creating this movement and this new normal together. So with that, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and transition to our awesome panel that we have ahead. But before we do, I wanted to let you know that we are using Slido, and so you'll see some instructions coming up shortly on the screen. Hopefully, coming up shortly. And Slido is really cool because you're going to be able to actually take a poll on our first topic, which is, will robots steal my job? So if you take a poll, then we're going to, so take out your phones and go into the app and vote if you think robots will steal your job or not. And that leads into our next panel, which is all about will a robot steal our job? So a recent study by McKinsey Global Institute predicts that by 2030, as many as 800 million jobs could be lost to automation. 800 million. Advances in robotics and AI are already having a drastic impact on the workplace. So are we entering into a utopia where we get to spend all of our time in leisure, go visit the Algarve and have some fun? Or will it be a dystopia of mass unemployment and extreme inequality? So please join me in welcoming Manuel Angel Mendez from El Confidencial. Along with their crystal balls in hand are Martin Kern, Director of European Institute of Innovation and Technology, Kevin Johnson, CEO of Udemy, Holly Liu, Visiting Partner at Y Combinator, and Luca Vicentini, General Secretary of the European Trade Union Confederation. Thank you.